Just one touch and I'm lost inside your love. Just one touch means more than words can say. Just one touch and I know I'm gonna stay for always. Gypsy road.
Woo! Man, oh man, it's a Thursday.
Yes,
It is
Thursday.
And, let me just say, I am so glad that our friend here, Taurus, brought up to watch my science project, because it is free on YouTube, and that's how I watched it. I watched it on YouTube. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find a better quality on any streaming services. It's on no streaming services at all, but it is on YouTube.
Yeah, free.
But I forgot how good this movie really is.
Oh.
I mean, really. Hold on, I'm trying to type in big science movies, because there's a lot of interesting things. This movie came out in 1985, right? And hold on, there's one more movie. I'm just typing in something. There's one other movie, because there's a lot of movies that actually came out in 1985.
Yeah,
I'm gonna tell you some science movies that actually came out in 1985. It's kind of interesting. All the big movies that came out in 1985. Oh, there's some good people in here. We got Haska-san, It's Time to Wake Up, How Did We Get Here, Tim Matrix Eyes, Morning Coffee Diet, whatever. Yeah, all that. I can name you off 4 movies that I know of that came out in 1985 that's based around science. Okay, and then we'll get into this movie, because people might say, well, this is a copy of all the movies that were going along during that time. But these 4 movies that a lot of people would compare it to actually came out in that same year. Unless they make movies all in a month, it takes time to make these movies. So let me tell you the movie that came out in 1985 that's based around science. You got probably the biggest one of them all, Back to the Future. Okay? So, of course, you got My Science Project, of course. You have Weird Science. Weird Science also came out in 1985. And I don't know, a lot of people might remember this one that came out in 1985 that starred Val Kilmer. Do you remember a movie that starred
I almost said it. I'm not going to say it. Let the sidebar say it. I already know what it is.
Guys, you know what movie came out in 1985 that's based around science with Val Kilmer? I like to see somebody get that. Here's some other ones. I mean, you got a movie called Daryl that came out in 1985 that was based around science. That was really a big movie. But you got another movie called Brazil that came out in 1985. There's a movie called The Bride that actually starred Sting.
Yes.
That's based around science. Life Force, Enemy Mines. But the one I'm thinking of, let me see if anybody gets it. Real Genius.
Love Real Genius, man.
Real Genius.
They're working on lasers, Eric. They were working on lasers. And that movie, Real Genius, yeah.
Real Genius. I'm just saying how much science has really, science has always been in the movies all through generations. But 1985 was like Godzilla 1985. That's technically science. That is. I remember Godzilla. It was called Godzilla 1985. So science movies were just huge. But what was so neat about my science project was it is a time machine, kind of a power kind of a machine. But instead of going through time came there.
Yeah.
So like Back to the Future, they go forward in time, they go backwards in time. Weird Science pulled a nuclear missile, probably real time. So and of course, Real Genius is about building a laser. But my science project is basically has their own power source in a movie that pulls things in, and there's some interesting there's an awesome Easter egg in this movie that I don't know, maybe some people will get this, some people won't. Maybe I'll just before I'll tell you this Easter egg. Let me pull up the trailer so people can see the trailer, because if you haven't seen this movie, guys, you can watch it right there on YouTube. And yes, is it super clear on YouTube? Yep. No, but I tell you what, you're going to enjoy this movie. But here, let me go to my other channel, because this is where I dump it. I dump it on my Matrix Eyes channel just to make sure that the video don't get taken down. Okay, there's a copyright on it, but just for like if you make money off videos. I don't make no money off this channel, so they can have whatever they want. Here we go. Yes, 90s did go quantum.
Touchstone Films.
Owned by Disney.
In 1955, an extraordinary...
I know, it's poor quality. Sorry about that, guys.
Has the press gotten wind of this yet? We don't think so, sir. If this got out, it could change the course of civilization. Briefly, well, they pulled the engine out. Get rid of it.
In 1985, seniors at Kit Carson High...
Hey, school tax, jellyfish. Come on.
...were working on their science projects when Mike Harlan discovered the engine.
All the same runtime. Unleaded.
He fixed it.
He's 44 years old, Eric, by the way.
Supreme. You both get D's. Hey, I'll take it.
And he called it My Science Project. But he didn't turn it in. He turned it loose.
I see lights like this at an Ozzy Osbourne concert. This is bigger than the planet.
Is this like we need trousers we can smoke?
Get it hopper. Smoke banana pills.
Wait, there goes my feet.
It's dangerous. You could find us in another.
Something tells me we ain't in Kansas no more photos. Sure, what's he saying? He's going to keep I wanted to buy with good behavior. It's a blow up. Whoa, now we are talking hyperspace.
My Science Project.
Now that was a ride.
That's a great movie. You know, that protagonist, Eric, the main actor, the Motorhead guy, he's 44 years old in real life playing a high school student. I'm like, what the? I looked him up. I was like, because the other guy, Vinny, was in The Burning. Remember him in The Burning? He was one of the kids in The Burning. Yeah.
And that kid, the main actor, he was also in the movie Christine, the Stephen King Christine movie. He was the best friend of the guy who bought that car. That he was, he was the cool friend. And I forget. Hold on, I got the IMDb up here. Let me pull up his name. Let me see. Let me get his name up for a second. You know what's funny? When you go to IMDb, right? You know the trailer they have it for this movie is Back to the Future.
What?
No, I'm serious. That's probably why I couldn't find a clear, decent trailer. You could tell that trailer was recorded off of recording. But yeah, Back to the Future. It's kind of interesting here. The star's name is John Stockwell. You know what? When you watch him in this movie and you watch him in Christine, I'm not making fun of his looks at all, but he always looks like he's chewing tobacco.
Right? Yeah.
I'm not saying he really was chewing tobacco, but I don't know why. It always seemed to me that he was chewing tobacco. And
he's got that whoa look. He looks like whoa, like he got a big wad of tobacco right here. What?
But if you just go to my channel and watch and watch the videos about 1972. Okay, I'll check that channel out.
I
I'll check
will.
out your channel, Rat Generation. I love good YouTube sites. Well, don't go there until after the cast is over. Well, of course, Bob. I'm gonna have to end this show. I'm going to a site. No, but
Make sure he puts the. Tell him the. Well, I'll tell him. Put your link in there so we can find it. So we can go to it after the show.
He can't unless. Hold on a second. I mean, I could give him. Hold on. Let me give him a temporary. Here we go. Hold on. Sorry. Give me a second. At Rat Generation X, I just give you a temporary wrench. So drop your link inside the comments so people can check out your page. Now, there's a cool Easter egg. Before we get in this movie, there's an awesome Easter egg. I'm trying to see if there's a picture. Okay. Now, of course, everybody knows this guy right here, right?
Dennis Hopper.
Okay. Let me see. I try to find a picture of this Easter egg, and I can't find it. I'm trying to see. There's a. No, it's not going to show it. I was trying to find this cool. Do you know? Oh, hold on. Okay. Now, do you remember Dennis Hopper during the movie? He gets sucked into the time warp, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. And he comes back out wearing what?
Oh, his fringe jacket. He's wearing the same outfit he wore in Easy Rider.
Yes, exactly. That outfit that he wore in that movie is exactly the same outfit that he wore in Easy Rider.
I caught that.
I thought that was a cool ass Easter egg. And guys, I'm not making this up. Just look it up. You look it up, it'll tell you that Dennis Hopper wore his exact outfit that he wore in Easy Rider. And I was trying to find a picture of him in my science project with it, and I just can't find a picture of him with it.
Yeah, it was like he got zapped. It's kind of ironic because he got zapped back to be that person in Easy Rider. I think that was the goal of the joke, that he was the science teacher from the future, but he was the character of Easy Rider and the science teacher from the future.
Well, a lot of hippies, I'm not saying hippies, but a lot of hippies did become teachers. So, that part of the story is true. What's kind of neat is when you look at this kind of a movie, it's like two different kind of movies, right? Okay. Oh, there's his link right there, guys. So check out his link. Here you go. So that's cool. So if you check out his, this movie. I'm sorry, I got sidewarped, but this movie's like two different kind of movies in a way. The first kind of movie it is, he's kind of he's a popular kid with a popular girlfriend who dumps him. Like a lot of movies, they get dumped and they kind of fall in love with someone who's maybe not as popular, who's maybe a book nerd, so there's that formula where he finds love in a weird place. But in this movie, of course, you add the time machine. Of course, where does he find this machine? He finds it at a not deserted, but a graveyard for planes. Yeah. Now, there's another Easter egg. There was another movie that actually used an Easter egg for where they drop abandoned planes. There's another 80s movie that came out before this one. This wasn't the first movie to actually use an abandoned aircraft area. Do you remember this other movie I'm talking about?
Abandoned aircraft area.
Anybody? I don't know. Guys, do you guys think I'm a nerd for knowing this? Okay. There's another movie in the 80s with Patrick Dempsey, who's known as Dr. Love, Sex Doctor from whatever, that hospital TV show.
Yes. I know. Yeah, I know who.
Whatever that movie's called, that TV show.
Grey's Anatomy. Yeah.
When he was he played in a movie called Can't Buy Me Love.
Oh, yes.
And in the movie Can't Buy Me Love, he brings the popular girl into an abandoned graveyard to sit with planes and look up. And also, Harley, Marlboro and the Harley Davidson, the Marlboro Man. was actually did a shooting inside
Yes. Yes.
an airplane. I know it's kind of like, who cares? But it's kind of neat. There's a lot of Easter eggs, kind of like a lot of people use it the same place, same this. So
It's ironic. You look at it back now, and it is weird that a lot of these little clip movies, you don't ever think about it that they were actually in an airplane graveyard. I was like looking at the planes the whole time in the airplane graveyard, going,
yeah,
"Oh,
yeah, they did it, and
really?
they use it there, and Harley Davidson, man. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of neat.
Harley Davidson, the Marvel man. Yep. Yep. And My Science Project. Yep. Yeah, a lot of airplane graveyards in the 80s, right?
No, I know, right? I know. All right. So of course in this one, to get this machine. Now, there's actually two different ways you can look at this movie too. You can look at this movie through the eyes of an alien ship that crashed, whatever, and they got this machine, and why the government left it right there where somebody could see this glowing light. I would never understand. But beyond that, or you can look at this movie as the Matrix trying to say, hey, I want to wake people up. I'm going to shoot this thing down so people could take this, open it up, and they could time travel through time to see things from the past, present, and future.
Yeah.
So in a lot of ways, you can look at this movie as a typical time travel, or you can look at this movie as a Matrix shooting itself down to wake people up if we're living in a Matrix type of world. So I'm telling you, when you watch these movies in two different kind of ways, it's kind of neat. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So it's and what's cool is, the whole movie's fucking cool. But I don't want to spoil to the end yet. Talk about the end. I want to get your point of view. But man, when you get to the last 30 minutes and when they actually go back to the school where I was telling you how Dr. Sleep just fucking sucked when they back to the hotel, it was just like blah, blah, blah. But this movie, when they get to that school, holy shit, I forgot, man. You saw Nazis. You saw Vietnam. You saw dinosaurs. You saw
gladiators,
lasers shooting at you, swords. I forgot how much open world that this movie did. And I am surprised that I almost forgot about this movie where people don't even talk about this movie where it took all time. And of course you had Dennis Hopper in it, who's just a fantastic side actor, going through the hippie days, and then you had that typical a police guy that like smoking a cigar, like investigating young punks. And you had those old-fashioned fast cars with the air machine to go fast. This movie is the typical awesome movie that represents 80s with science, cars, looking normal because that main actor did not look like a preppy in that movie. He wore like just an ugly t-shirt with a fucking like a regular hat that a regular person would wear, not a preppy hat, just a regular hat.
No trucker's hat, no goddamn sideways trucker's hats, man. What the fuck is that? Yeah.
And that sign, the sun shines on me 24 hours a day. Yeah, there were some really cool lines in this movie. Man, I don't know.
Sunglasses.
I don't know about you, Bob, but I forgot how fun this movie was.
No, it was amazing, man. The quality was fantastic. This is a sleeper. Nobody ever knows them except for let's just face it, guys. We're fucking nerds in some weird way, some weird dimension. We're all friends now, but we're all watch the same damn nerd movies that nobody ever talks about. And this is one of the big ones, man. The quality was amazing. The high quality of the movie was amazing. To go through the quickie, for those of you who didn't watch it, we got to think about you. It's real basic. There was a UFO that crash landed. The government took the UFO. They were dissecting it.
1955. That represents Back to the Future. 1955.
Yeah, and so the president walks in, and in this case, unlike Erica's like me, are like, what the fuck? The president says, get rid of it. Now, usually you tear shit apart. In this case, it was like, get rid of it. So they take the engine, the warp drive, time travel, whatever you want to call it, engine, and they store it into an underground bunker. And then, of course, then the air base shuts down. Years later, it's turned into an airplane boneyard. It's sold airplanes. The kid needs a science project. He's a cheater. He goes and looks for something cool and scientific.
Who did not cheat? If you're not a bookworm, who did not cheat? What movie again? Guys, we're talking about My Science Project.
Yeah. So he goes and finds this weird glowing ball thing. Now, he don't know what the fuck it is. His thing was, I'm going to clean it up. I'm going to pass it off as my science project because he didn't do one. Him and his buddy they're motorheads. They just work on their cars. So they found this cool with the it's got the Tesla coil, the electricity coming out of it. And when he puts power to it, he's playing with it. As he's cleaning it, it actually opens it up and turns it on. And then it absorbs power from the atmosphere. And then it absorbs power. It was absorbing power from the plugins. And so as it got more power, it started to shift time and space in its own space. So it's nothing's going through time. Like Eric said at the beginning, it's bringing time into this place.
Yes.
It's bringing time into it, and different dimensional realities were shifting in to the school where it was stored. So the teacher went to look at it because there was guys who were freaking out on it, and he disappeared through another reality.
Right here. Oh, hold on. This is where he was getting into it right here in this picture.
Yeah.
Dennis Hopper.
Dennis Hopper is gone. So now these guys are freaking out. The cops are after him. They think they must have killed him, they want to know because he went missing. They don't want to say that, hey, he went through time. So, what are they going to tell the fucking cops? So they leave the project at the school, and now it's just turned into some large ass, huge, what looks like a cyclone into the heavy cloud.
If you remember, they went to go blow up the tower before the power gets to the main bridge.
Yes.
So the main.
They want to shut the power off. So 3 teenagers going into a hardware store and get dynamite. Now, Eric, have you ever walked into a hardware store and got dynamite before? I thought that was a little weird.
They are dynamite, and they were wearing stormtrooper helmets.
They just got dynamite from the local hardware store, and they're going to blow up all the power poles so they can't get any more power. They're going to shut the power off to the fucking time warping machine. But of course, it doesn't work. And then now the whole school is going through different dimensions, and they have to go back to the item, to the time warping engine. And he knows how to physically turn it off because he physically turned it on by accident. Well, the only way to shut it down is to physically turn it off. But they have to get to it, Eric.
Well, it was because of that nerd. Remember, they actually, once they stopped the power, where is it? There's a picture of that nerd where he calls that girl to go back in there to get the machine. And she goes back in there and meets up with that nerd, and that nerd plugs it back in.
Get it
restarted. Because they finally got the power. This nerd right here, this guy plugged it back in, and that's when it got restarted and it got bigger because they already fixed the power lines. Then by the time they got back to the school, it was already, like you're saying, full blast.
Full blast, multiple dimensions. They got to get to it to shut it off by hand. But the problem is they got to go through the dimensional shifts inside. So they've got, like Eric says, you've got Vietnamese, you've got Charlie in there with machine guns. You've got dinosaurs, you've got gladiators. I mean, Eric, they had those guys from the future shooting lasers at them. I mean, everybody was there.
And dude, and it wasn't like, I remember this scene with Dennis Hopper was like sucking on some gas in the movie. And what's funny is him doing this was, this is the 80s because Touchstone Pictures is owned by Disney.
Yeah.
So technically Disney made this movie, and you had this guy like taking a drug from a gas.
Can't do that now. You can't take a hit off that nitrous.
No,
it's a laughing gas. Laughing gas, yeah. It's laughing gas from a dentist office. Is what it is. So they put you under. But yeah, I love it because they got time machines, they got dynamite, and they got everything and anything you can think of in this movie. Now, it's family friendly. So if you guys want to watch it with your kids, you can watch it with your kids.
Oh, yeah,
if grandparents watching, you can watch this with your grandkids. And it's completely family friendly.
And one of the things they always do cool for some reason in the 80s, when kids come home, their parents is usually the whack out ones. The dad gets married to some girl he just met. They went down there. There's like so many movies like the movie Zapped, where Scott Baio comes home. The mom's like a religion kind of freak. You know, there's always something with the parents in the 80s movies. It's just they're not normal.
No, the single parents that are insane. Usually what it is because you always have the protagonist is usually some young rebellious teenager. And the reason why they're rebellious teenager from the 80s is because they have a single parent, and usually that single parent's not actually 100%. You know, they're a little bit off.
Yeah,
they've always got their own life.
They're not always with their kids.
I love the 80s, man. I fucking love the 80s. I feel so sorry for the children now. Their lives must suck. Ours rocked in the 80s. I hate to say it to people. Some of you guys are 90s people. Eric was a 90s guy. He rocked the 90s. I rocked the 80s and the 70s a little bit. You know, everyone has their time. But, you know, you got to give it to the 80s, man. Again, Eric, in this time, Eric, like you said it, man. They had Back to the Future, where the physical body is going through time. Your physical self is going through time. Then you've got My Science Project, where time is being brought to you and everything's on the same level. So time and space is in the same space. We're sharing the same space. So that's how it's demonstrating how we show time as everything's in the same space. As in Back to the Future, you're going to time. You're going through time to the future or the past. And then, of course, like you said, science. What's it called? Science. What's it called?
Weird Science.
Weird Science.
Building a girl.
Yeah, and then Weird Science is like D-Wave, which is fake. And they're bringing the things in. So they're bringing the things through the internet into reality. So they're bringing it into reality physically. And then, of course, you've got, anyway, just how many of those? Real Genius, which is they're making the laser. They're making a laser and all these fantastic new projects and things. So, and brought comedy to it at the same time.
And I like what Fluttercore Music saying. Why was Scott Baio in so many movies about messed up kids, and he always played the messed up kid? Well, technically, in Zapped, he wasn't really messed up. He was just a nerd that was working on growing marijuana, and then he ran into some an explosion, and he got powers. And then him and his buddy that played in a rated R movie had nudity, everything in it, which was good. I loved it. But then that Scott Baio and that actor went on to do a kids TV show. It was kind of like you can only do it in the 80s, Bob. If they were Scott Baio and that same actor played together in a rated R movie with nudity and all that, they will not take the two same actors, put them together, keep them as buddies, and put them in like in a children's show. I think it was called Charles in Charge.
Yeah.
You know, only in the 80s that they're like, they don't give a fuck. And remember, this was made by Disney.
Yeah,
you know,
Disney.
Weed, and then, oh my God.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie to anybody. I'm a big John Cusack fan. I love John. I think John Cusack rocked the fucking 80s. John Cusack, if you're a John Cusack fan, like Better Off Dead, you know, he had that Better Off Dead. I can't remember all the movies.
He wrote weird. I know what he meant. He wrote Love Wired Science. He meant Weird Science that made so many guys want to put bras on their heads. Yep. Trying to tell the girl, come on. If you
didn't do that?
Knew somehow that you had an opportunity and chance to build yourself the ultimate girl, you know, you're a teenager and you want it, and then you had this older woman taking a shower with two kids under 18. You want to get away with that now. And she
in the States.
to sleep with her, but
In the States, you can't. Over in England, I guess it's 16. So as long as if they were in England, as long as they were 16, they can pull whatever woman they want out of the computer that had been legal. The lady wouldn't go to jail. But yeah, I don't know. That's controversial. But yeah, so two teenagers made their and they're like doing the perfect bra size. They're manufacturing their perfect woman. And then when she appears, she's got all these powers. Superpower. But here's this. Remember, Eric, that was scary in that movie because in Weird Science, she didn't go away. No, they invented her. She's like Skynet, man. And she's physically walking around. She's like, what's the name of that robot lady? Sophia. So she's like a humanoid Sophia, and she's live and walking around. Imagine how many teenage boys she was banging. She's like, geez, man, the 80s rocked for that AI and all the teenagers. Weird Science. Yeah, he was in Pretty in Pink. No, not Pretty in Pink. He was 16 Candles. Remember,
and the side actor in this movie is Iron Man, Robert Downey Jr. He was one of those like preppy guys that hated these two.
Yeah. Yes. And that's Anthony Michael Hall.
Anthony Michael Hall,
16 Candles, started off, and then, of course, he was in Breakfast Club. He went on to make Brat Pack. I think he's part of the Brat Pack.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. God, yeah. Of course, one of his most famous movies also is Vacation, and there's the picture of the bras on their head.
Look at that.
And one of the most coolest scenes where they're talking to the parents and telling their parents, like, they're going to have drugs, they're going to do this and this and this.
Cocaine.
Oh, yeah. Remember? Oh, God. Remember this actor? What's his name? He's dead now, but.
Chet.
His name is Chet, but what's his real name in real life? I can't remember. Oh, there's Robert Downey. Here's Robert Downey Jr. in Weird Science.
Yeah. But what was that guy? That guy who played Chet. He went on. That was one of his best freaking simplest role he's ever played, but it was his best role. He played in Apollo. Was it Apollo 11 or Apollo 13? You guys call it. It was Apollo 11 for you. Apollo 13 for everybody else. And he played he was on the ship, right? Yeah, he was on the ship. And then he played several roles. He played so many fucking roles. That guy was one of the best actors ever. I hate to see him go. He was a damn good actor.
Yeah, I'm trying to get his Bill Paxton.
Bill Paxton, man. Wow.
And then he played in that cool HBO show, Big Love, where he's married to like 3-4 women.
Yeah. There's Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, dude,
look at him, little boy.
No, at that time she was beautiful. I don't know how the hell she let herself go, but she was. Come on, let's be honest. She was hot to everybody.
Well, yeah, every teenage boy had her poster. I had her poster.
She married. Did she marry Sylvester Stallone?
Oh, that's what happened. I think she towered over that little guy. I like Sylvester Stallone. I'm not putting him down. He's a good actor.
This guy.
Oh, yes.
This guy. Thanks to The Hills Have Eyes, this guy was in, of course, the original Hills Have Eyes. And then he got re-popular in the 80s. Motley Crue put him in the Smoking the Boys Room video. And then he was in the scene of Weird Science.
He made his career off Comic-Con. Comic-Con.
Yeah.
Comic-Con. He made his. I love Comic-Con, man. It saved a lot of people's careers that died out in the 80s, man. It saved them. But there's Chet. He turned into that shit monster. He turned him into the shit monster. Here we are talking about Weird Science, so we're supposed to be talking about my science project.
Well, we're expanding it to all science of 1985 because I didn't realize how many science movies came out in 1985. And it was just like, wow. I mean, we all remember Back to the Future because that was the biggest one. But you forget about all the science movies that came out that year.
Yeah, put up Real Genius. Real Genius is another good that's a great one with Val Kilmer. That's back when Val Kilmer was normal. I don't know what he is now. That's back when he was normal. He was a damn good actor at the time too. I think he's still a good actor. A lot of them just,
one of his favorite movies that I thought he was fantastic in was that Indian. He's an Indian cop. Thunderheart.
Yeah.
Thunderheart.
Oh,
Thunderheart. I mean,
played
that
part
was
perfect.
fucking awesome.
Yeah, really played that part well.
And there he is. It's just that cool. He's the kid that he was so smart that he knew he was too smart, and if he didn't cool it down, that he was going to end up like the guy who lives in his closet who had a breakdown. So he made sure to, he's a nerd by heart, but he didn't want to have a mental breakdown. So he became a goofball in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Yeah, he had a guy living in his closet. Yeah, he was a real genius. He was brilliant. He was just beyond brilliant. And so all he did was fuck around. He was so smart that he just didn't do anything. He just fucked around. I know the feeling. I dropped out of high school at 15. Took my test and got out. Used to fight with my teacher. Says, I don't understand this. I don't believe it. You're wrong. I debated every teacher. I debated my whole life. I debunked and I don't trust nobody as a kid. I don't trust nobody as an adult, and neither should anybody else in this fucking fun-ass, weird-ass fake world we live in, the comic book. Don't trust nobody. Be like these guys.
I remember this movie. Oh, this is the guy that had a mental breakdown.
Yes, he won. He won all them things. What were they?
He entered that contest. He figured out the math.
Clearinghouse, like Publishers Clearinghouse with Ed McMahon.
It was free to enter. He figured out the math on how many he needed to send in to win a percentage of the prizes.
Yeah, like it's like you could enter. They always say you can enter as many times as you want. So he entered millions of entries into all of them.
And then this guy. This actor in Real Genius always plays the dick in all the 80s movies. He was a dick in Ghostbusters. He was a dick in a lot of movies.
Perfect. He's the perfect asshole.
Yes.
It's hard to play that role. Because you're going to be looked at like everyone's like, they think it's real life. He's an asshole. Nah, he's an actor, man. He just played the role of an asshole.
And this movie proved that what happens when you do have a breakthrough in science, that you sell it off to the military.
You sold it off to the military.
You turn out to be this famous science, but then you just turn out to be a shell because you're just doing it all for money.
Yeah, and then, of course, they find out that he's selling it out to the military, and they went in to sabotage it.
With popcorn.
With popcorn, yes.
Right,
that's brilliant. Yes, brilliant.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They put that big tinfoil of popcorn right there.
Yeah. Yeah, amazing.
And there's the science.
I love the practical jokes. See, these are the best movies, man. The best plot lines, the best spins. I thought she was the best everything, man. It's like, and then of course, after Real Genius, then we've got everybody knows.
Kid 92 never heard of Real Genius, dude. It really is. It really is a good movie. It's basically just where they had this one kid join this special school of geniuses because the dickhead has a project that they want him to build a laser, an actual real life laser. And then he gets there, and then his idol is, of course, Val Kilmer, who everybody thought he was a total nerd, but he turns out to be this goofball cool guy, and you learn why. And then the movie's fun. I mean, the 80s had no bars. Now, this ain't it's not rated R. There's no nudity.
Family friendly. Family friendly.
It is more family friendly, but it's still fun. I mean,
That's why you guys come to watch this show. We kind of talk about the coolest movies. I highly recommend Real Genius. Go see My Science Project, then see Real Genius, and then, of course, end it all with, of course, Back to the Future.
Let me see if Real Genius is free for people on YouTube.
Oh, that'd be cool. Oh, that'd be fucking cool. I'll watch it tonight. I'll watch it tonight if it is.
No, it's a buy or rent. Oh, hold on. It says Real Genius full movie right here.
Oh, so somebody recorded a small section, like a small square of it.
But it can't be because look, this movie is an hour 45 minutes. This one here is 1 hour and 18 minutes. So that looks like a bogus one. But here's one 1 hour 32. Maybe. I mean, you guys could try this. I'm not going to try it because it might, take this video down. But,
Big ass spider just went by me. That's crazy.
Nothing wrong with spiders. Now, I'm curious if my science project made any money. Let's see.
Yeah. It's weird because it's like, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of They Live. How like They Live was a great movie, went under the radar and just disappeared.
So weird how the trailer for this is Back to the Future. So strange.
They didn't even have the cover. Why they don't want you to, guys? They don't want you to see this movie. So watch the movie.
Okay, here we are. So the movie costed $1.5 million, and it grossed worldwide $4 million. So technically, this movie was profitable for Disney.
That's cheap for a fucking movie.
And with the special effects that were in it, that's not bad.
The special effects were top fucking notch for 85. For 85, this was the music composition was good. Everything was good. This is like a Walt Disney movie. It's pure quality. For $1 million, billion and change, that's cheap. Making which is weird, $4 million only. It's like they didn't show it anywhere. You know what it is, Eric? I think because the other movies were doing so big, this one got stepped over.
John Stockwell. Oh, he was in Top Gun. He was Cougar. That's right.
Who?
The actor in my science project was in Top Gun. He was that.
Oh.
He was that pilot in the beginning that couldn't cut it. So Tom
Cruise
got it. I forgot about that.
And Val Kilmer was in it. And he was in Top Gun. Yeah, both those actors were in Top Gun.
And of course, I told you he was in Christine, and he directed Blue Crush, which I saw that movie. That wasn't that bad.
Okay.
Which I don't know. I've never seen it.
It's a popcorn watcher.
Yeah. Too bad he didn't really have Oh, he was in Friday the 13th series when they had that TV series where they sold all that stuff, like from their store, and all that stuff they sold were haunted, so they had to go get it back.
That's a great series.
That wasn't, there's no Jason in it or nothing, but yeah, it wasn't bad.
It was a Friday the 13th TV series was really good.
And I guess he directs too now. Like I said, he directed some movie called Kickboxer Vengeance in 2016. His last directed movie was Armed Response, whatever that is. And he also wrote some movies. Kid Cannabis. Okay.
Oh, I've seen that. That's a good movie. It's kind of silly, but it's a good movie. Kid Cannabis is a good movie. Yeah, it's about a regular high school kid, Eric, who needs to make some extra money. So he goes up to Canada, makes a deal with some Canadian pot growers, and he gets a bunch of high school kids to work for him. He smuggles weed back. And that's the movie. And of course he gets, they break off and they want to start their own little cannabis runs, and the whole thing crashes in at the end. He goes to jail, but yeah, pretty good movie.
Yeah, and then his buddy in this movie, Fisher Stevens, he was a perfect buddy in this movie. You make those side comments, it wasn't too much, you know what I mean? He made those comments like we getting arrested,
Vinny.
Get your hands out, Mr. Spock. I mean, just how he said things. He was an awesome. He did a great job as a sidekick.
Yeah, he always stayed skinny. He never gained any weight. This guy stayed skinny his whole life. He must have some kind of disease. But he was in The Burning. He was that's probably his first movie in The Burning.
He looks pretty good too, really. He
looks like he did back then. He kept his weight off. He's always stayed skinny.
That's right. He was in Short Circuit. That's right. He was in Hackers. Okay. I remember Hackers. Hackers was a movie.
Yes, he was in Hackers. Yes, he was the bad guy in Hackers.
Yeah,
That's where I saw him again. Oh shit! Yes.
he was riding the skateboard in that movie.
Well, he was the
He was
head
the
hacker.
IT genius, the IT behind the whole thing.
Yeah, he's the IT genius. Used to be a hacker, and then became an IT genius, and then he was actually embezzling money. And then the other hackers find out about with Angela Jolie, and I can't remember the other actor's name. But who cares? Oh, there are a lot of good actors in it though. So yeah, Hackers was great. I love how all these guys just overlapped. There was a certain time period where all the best movies came out, and you've seen the same actors in the movies, but they're all good. You know, I don't know now, man. I don't know what we got.
You know, Dennis Harper. I mean, we all know his career. It was awesome. Now, whatever happened to her, that Danielle girl? I wonder whatever happened to her. Oh, that's right. She was the girl love interest in La Bamba.
She was. Oh, whoa, that's right.
Donna. Donna.
Shit, boy, we're hooking them all up. We're linking them all up. We're getting them all figured out here.
And that was a pretty popular 80s movie about the story of
good movie. Yeah. The supposed Mexican protagonist, he's actually Filipino. They couldn't. I was like, you guys can't pick an actual Mexican to play the role of Valdez or whatever. You're gonna pick a guy from You picked a Filipino guy. Okay.
Yeah, because Young Guns, he was the Indian.
Yeah, he was the Indian Young Guns. Yeah, he's Filipino.
And then her last movie she acted in was like 2001. So it looks like she got out of the movie business.
Yeah. Well, but they're pulling them all in with all these new networks.
Well, she became a producer. You can see here that she actually became a producer. She still produces now. She's an executive producer for some looks like a TV show. So she's still in the business, but she probably learned that she can make more money, do better as a producer.
You don't have to work. You just give your endorsement. Basically, you're the one handling the money. A lot of America when they made that movies,
who's Johnny
they made
Miller?
that money, and then they use that money. They flip their money like they're flipping a house by investing it back into a movie as a producer. Then they got their profits back. That's smart.
Johnny Lee Miller. Who's that? Am I missing something, or were they? Or are they talking about somebody else, like from the chat? Johnny Lee.
Miller.
Johnny Lee Miller. Who's Johnny Lee Miller? Johnny Lee.
It's thinking.
Johnny Lee Miller. Here we go. I'm clicking on him. Johnny Lee Miller. Mindhunters, Trainspotting, Dracula 2000. Oh, he's more of a modern guy.
Oh, maybe he was in Hackers. Was it the guy in Hackers? I don't know.
You go back in the 80s. I'm going back in the 80s. Let's see here.
Maybe he was the guy in Hackers.
No, I don't see him in Hackers. He wasn't in my science project.
Oh.
He was in Trainspotting. He was Sick Boy.
He's that skinny guy in Trainspotting.
He was in Hackers? He was in Hackers? He was married to Angelina Jolie. Oh, he married her? Wow, I didn't know. Well, she was married to several people, so that's cool.
The main. Yeah, he was. There was a movie in Trainspotting.
Yeah, he was Dade. Yeah, he was Dade in Hackers.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. Well, Hacker. Yeah, we just jumped from. Yeah, we try to connect all the actors, guys. So it's kind of, Eric and I always like to find out what else they've done. So in our shows, especially, you get to hear about the movie, and then we get curious about the actors. We want to see where else they've jumped into. You guys kind of get an idea, and then you get to go back and maybe watch them movies again, kind of bring back a little bit of spark of nostalgia for early shows.
Who did not have a crush on Angelina Jolie with those big lips?
Yeah,
everybody had a crush on her because she had those lips. In Hackers, she had that look that she's bad.
Yeah, and she was natural. She was a natural. Nobody injected into her lips. She was completely natural, big fluffy lips. I mean, I know Brad Pitt fucked her over. Royal. Fuck that girl.
He was also in Alien versus Predator. Oh, okay. Or
Okay.
Alien versus Predator 2. Okay. I remember Alien versus Predator, but not much.
Alien, yeah. I watched it once. I liked Predator. That's about as far as I went. But I watched the other ones. They're okay. I like the originals, and then the knockoffs are good. Rambo's are one of the rare exceptions that got better and better and better. But First Blood, then Rambo 2, whatever. Can't remember.
Yeah, and of course, when we thought Rambos were getting better, all the critics thought the Rambos were getting worse.
Of course, they were all fake and stupid. Everybody went out and bought a Rambo knife. He bought that big ass, jagged ass, large Rambo knife. And any practical freaking survivalists will say you don't want a Rambo knife. It is the worst knife to get.
Oh yeah, that's right. He had that famous dad. Julie. I forgot his name. I know he was in that National Treasure. He's the father of Nicolas Cage in that movie National Treasure, but I don't know his name. But guys, let me give you guys a shout out of what's going on tomorrow. The show tomorrow, we're going to explore the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle.
Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, that's something we never talked about before. And I thought it would be a fun topic to talk about and trying to find, what is it? What causing it? Is it real? Is it fake? And if you guys look at my thumbnail, I'm not going to show you. You guys actually have to go there. Look at the thumbnail, because in the middle of the triangle, Bob, you and I are fishing in the Bermuda Triangle.
Very good. I want to go fishing in the Bermuda Triangle. Yeah. I think we'll be fine. Might be abducted by a couple aliens, but that's okay. We'll catch some big fish.
And then next week on Tuesday, the movie we're going to talk about, I want to do the conversation 2 different ways for next week, because it's going to be interesting, because I want to do it on Children of the Corn, the Stephen King Children of the Corn. But the reason I want to do this on this movie is because that movie's in the 80s. Okay, now think of this. This is everybody's homework for the weekend until Tuesday. If you're living in a town and you were part of the kids that kill all the parents, how do you block that from a social networking world before people know that there's no parents? Because in the 80s, I could see them maybe getting away with it until somebody finds out. But now with all the phones, social networking, how can you get away with it now? So the homework is for next Tuesday is we're going to talk about the movie Children of the Corn, Malachi, and about them killing the parents or their God. But how can you pull that off now and get away with it for a long time before somebody notices that there's no parents in a town?
Yeah, I'm gonna look forward to that. I haven't seen that since the 80s, man. Children of the Corn.
Yes. And I want to make a top 10 list on that show of 10 ways we could get away with it now if you're a kid in a town where people don't know, because it's hard, if parents, maybe in the 80s you could do that in a small town out in the middle of nowhere, but even nowadays with towns out of nowhere has internet. So how can you get away with it for almost like a week? But maybe you can. That's why we're all going to discuss, everybody, on how can we get away with it if we did it now. Of course, we're old. We don't want that to happen because we're the ones who would be dead.
Yeah, we'd be dead now. They'd kill the kids that kill us. They'd have their own town.
Devils near Japan. What is this? There were NASA dumps the rockets from Cape Cannibal, laugh out loud. What is this? There are different triangles, like it's a Mandela effect for a few people because people just remember the Bermuda Triangle. Yeah, we're gonna discuss it all tomorrow. We're gonna break it down. It's
I didn't know that. I have to research
on this channel, and why not?
I have to research it. I know about the one, so you know what? I haven't really researched it for years, so this is gonna be fun. I get to do it tomorrow. I'll start researching tomorrow. I'll see what's up.
No,
that'd be cool.
Taurus. Thank you. Because Torres wrote, thanks for the nostalgic movie review today. All sci-fi popcorn movies rock, and so many clues. Yeah, I did. I was shocked of how many science movies came out in '85. I mean, it was like, damn.
An unusual amount. And, I mean, it's starting the whole thing, of course, is Back to the Future, which
and there's probably a lot more that we just, it's hard to break down. But those were like the motion picture ones.
That's amazing. Yeah, that is weird that in '85 they had so many of those time travel movies, and it kind of reflects on what people like are having these conspiracy theories now. It matches presently what's going on. So it's cool that a lot of us like remember the '80s or in the '80s. We can reflect on that and say, yeah, we saw that movie. We're talking about Bermuda Triangle is bigger than it used to be. I gotta check it out. I'm gonna let you guys know tomorrow. I will let you guys know tomorrow.
Crunchy B, if you come back tomorrow, if you remember what the original measurements were and the new one, put that in the chat tomorrow. That's interesting. That's why I want to talk about this tomorrow, because we never talked about it before.
That'd be great.
What's it about? What's the document or definition of the Bermuda Triangle? When did
send it to Eric? Send it to Eric. Put your email. If you guys remember the original dimensions, exactly the location and stuff, if you have like an anchor memory that's different than everybody else, send it to Eric. We want to see it. We explore everything. Nobody is in trouble, and no one will be made fun of. So you guys can sit. If you have some weird ass whatever's, throw it into Eric's thing. We'll take a look at it tomorrow. We'll talk about it tomorrow, or just show up tomorrow. We'll take a look at it and just throw a link in the sidebar or whatever. Eric has to usually check them first to make sure you don't get no trouble. But it's nice if you send it to Eric first.
We're gonna test a video. Is it Medelific or mental illness for a good friend of the channel named I want to say his name right. His name is Hazel Fever. Hazel Fever.
Yeah.
Cool. We're doing one on him tomorrow. He wants to go through the Whopper machine. We want to see. It's in the notes. You guys don't have to look up the notes. I'm not going to tell you. And I'll pull up a survey tonight about Bermuda Triangle. Check out my survey. And I do have a survey up for this movie, my science project. So if you haven't seen it, watch the movie and go back to my movie tab and put in the vote.
Well, Eric, we got to hurry up here. Real fast. Texas Danny sent me a post. He told me to go back to watch The Thing, the original thing that we had on our show before, the original thing. At the beginning of that movie, Russell Crowe is playing chess on an electronic chess machine where he pours whiskey into it. But he says to check that out and see if there's any residual in that scene. I go, oh, shit, okay. I'll go back and look. So let's see what Kurt Russell was up to in The Thing, that first part. So, yeah, I still got to work on mine, guys. I didn't get an award.
And guys, I only got look for and we only got 15 votes so far for the my science project. I want more votes in this, so make sure you come back and put your vote in it. And then that's it, guys. We're gonna end this show. I want to appreciate everybody coming in. That was fun. Thanks, Torres, for bringing that movie up because that was a fun topic.